Hey guys, welcome back to Coin Knowledge. So today we're going to be talking about quite a bit, a pretty heavy list of gaming altcoins that I think are pretty undervalued. We're going to be looking at stuff really starting at like 50 million market cap and below, getting into some micro caps sub 1 million. So if something like that, kind of gets, excited, or if you get some value out of, this kind of content, consider subscribing to the channel and liking the videos. Your support means a lot, and I try to keep you guys updated on the gaming space because it is obviously one of the narratives that I think is going to run the hardest here this cycle. It's already proven so a couple times, and again, it's a space that we've covered for years now on the channel. So right here, we can take a look at what Bitcoin's doing. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of red in the markets just overall right now. Bitcoin, obviously fell beneath 60K. Now, a lot of people think that we're gonna, kind of get closer to 50K, and that could happen. Obviously, nothing I say on these videos is financial advice. Just giving you guys my opinion, what I'm looking at right now in different narratives. So today, obviously, we're gonna be talking about gaming, but with Bitcoin, we do have to take a look at it as it does obviously have a big impact on the overall market. If you take a look here at Bitcoin, I mean, again, broke that 60K level, got all the way down beneath 58K. Now, we could see a little bit more downwards movement, as far as price goes. We could see Bitcoin kind of get to the mid 50s, or we could see it kind of hover over 60K. It really could go either way here. I do think with rate cuts coming, I think mid-September, there is going to be maybe August might be a pretty bad month. September probably going to be a worse month historically if you look at the 4-year cycle chart. And then October, I think we do expect maybe the overall market to kind of be going back upwards into a bullish price action. But again, with rate cuts, historically it has kind of been a huge dump afterwards. Time will tell. But again, that's my quick little spiel on Bitcoin, where it's at right now. Now, if we shift over to a lot of the gaming altcoins that we cover a lot on this channel, I'm just going to be giving you guys, again, just kind of quick synopsis on my opinions at certain levels on some of these altcoins. We've made individual projects, I believe, on every one of these projects on today's video. Now, some of them, I do want to point out a couple big catalysts here recently, and I'll give you guys kind of a super micro cap gem at the end, one that I'm looking for, especially at these levels. So again, please stick around towards the end if you guys get value out of these videos and out of the stuff you see today. If it helps you out at all, consider liking the video. Really means a lot. Now, if we get into the first one, we take a look. It's Heroes of Mavia. No surprise here. It's actually right at $50 million in circulating market cap. Now, Heroes of Mavia, we've talked about it so much. Now, take a look at the 1-year chart. We can see it came out this year. It ran all the way up to $10. Take a look at the 1 month. I don't know if it'll show me. Yeah, so the last time it got down to these levels around $1, it quickly came back up, almost touched $3, almost, well over 2.5x right there. It was actually something that we had covered at that time. Then you guys know, hey, I think anything around $1 for Heroes of Mavia is super undervalued. So we're kind of approaching those levels right now, obviously. Now, again, going back to the beginning of the video, I do think that there is still room for a lot of the projects to continue bleeding out a little bit further, because I do not expect a gaming run anytime soon. Nobody knows what the next narrative is going to be to run whenever the market turns bullish again. But I do think with some, big catalysts that we have had, like the launch of Illuvium recently, even Nyan Heroes earlier in the year, Pixelmon, Mon Protocol, Karrat Coin, and now Off the Grid on the horizon here soon. I think all those big catalysts, and holiday season is typically a pretty big time for gaming traditionally in Web 2 anyways, with a bunch of holiday releases. So I think a lot of that could actually have some impactfulness on the gaming sector in crypto. That's why I'm looking at it. And again, I do think that gaming alongside AI probably are going to be the two big narratives this cycle, with RWA being a third, as I've said multiple times on this channel, but I digress. So looking at Heroes of Mavia, why would somebody be bullish on Heroes of Mavia? Well, again, they have the player base. I mean, there's no denying that. Heroes of Mavia, they definitely have the player base. They've done quite a bit of updates within their ecosystem that, again, we've made individual videos on. So they've actually done a lot more integration with their Ruby, their soft currency in the game, and then actually added more utility for the Mavia, their main, token. As far as you can actually do like betting with the Ruby, you can swap it, I believe, with Mavia now. And one of the biggest reasons why I like Mavia is that they're actually building on base. There's another project on today's video that is also building on base. That's such a smaller market cap, which we'll get to. But for base, I think base alongside Solana are going to be the two hottest ecosystems this cycle. We saw it last cycle. With Solana a little bit and Ethereum and, all these Ethereum killers. But now this cycle moving into it, I do think Solana and Base are going to be the hottest, ecosystems chains that could be, projects going to be building on. With Solana potentially getting an ETF, and with Base, not having their token launch yet, I think that when they do that airdrop or whatever launch with the Base token, there's going to be a huge liquidity injection at that time. So again, and the fees are, like nothing like Solana, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And there's not a whole lot of quality projects building on Base, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. So at a $50 million market cap, I think that Heroes of Mavia is definitely going to eclipse its previous all-time highs of a 300 million, which if we take a look there, that's about a 6x away from right now. I could definitely see that happening, and they did halt their vesting and token unlocks until, I believe, February of 2025. So there's no dilution that's going to be occurring here for the next 6 months or so around there. So that is worth mentioning. So if we do see a gaming run before then, what you see right now for circulating supply, that's going to stay that way until February, and then the vesting will kind of resume. But even then, it's not harsh vesting, really. It's very long and linear. So that's why I like Heroes of Mavia. Now, the next one is Karrat. Now, I cannot tell you guys how bullish I am on Karrat. I say it every time we cover it here. We actually saw it earlier this morning at the time recording this video drop beneath 40 cents, putting in a new all-time low at 39 cents. A price that I didn't think we would see so soon, personally. Now, again, there is going to be unlocks. They're going to be having their first token unlocks in October of this year. So in a couple months, about 2 months now. And then they'll go monthly unlocks. But I think it's like only 0.09 or 0.9, something like that, percent of the supply monthly. It's monthly unlocks. You can find it on Crypto Rank. But really, I'm not too worried about the unlocks personally. I think there is going to be a lot of maybe selling pressure going into that unlock. But I think it might actually be something where it's people are going to be expecting a huge sell-off and then maybe a dump, and then it will kind of bounce back. That's my prediction with Karrat Coin, especially since October potentially could be the month where we start seeing the market turn bullish again. But that's still, 60 days away. Nobody knows what's going to happen between now and then. But, personally, again, nothing I see as financial advice. But Karrat, we saw it get up to about $1.28. And looking from here, that's about a 3x away. And I think that Karrat is definitely, to me, it's a no-brainer that it's going to eclipse those previous all-time highs. I definitely see Karrat, without much hesitation, in a true altcoin season or gaming run, getting to multiple dollars, without a lot of resistance. But again, it could not, nobody knows. I don't have a magic 8 ball. Nobody knows. But I think at these levels, for what Karrat's building, the fact that they're touching on gaming and AI, their AMGI studios with their like mocap technology and everything going on there. And the game's actually fun. We have gameplay of it on this channel. It's free. You can download it on Epic Game Store, the My Pet Hooligan game. It's a fun game. Quality. They get a lot of volume. They have a bunch. They have all their tier 1 exchange listings out of the way. I think all they're missing pretty much is Binance, so which I think is gonna probably come. They already have Coinbase, Crypto.com. I just noticed they don't have HTX, so that's probably another one that could potentially come. So very bullish on Karrat. So again, that's another one there. These first three should be of no surprise, honestly. Really, a lot of these shouldn't be if you've been around on this channel for quite some time. Now, Myria, again, another one I did not expect us to get to these levels again. We look at Myria. These are, pumping or pre-bull run, kind of gaming run prices. Literally, you're getting it today at the prices before the whole market decided to turn bullish again towards the end of 2023, and we had that initial gaming run towards the end of last year. Insane that you're getting it at these levels again. Now, obviously, if you look back, the market cap was slightly less because some dilution had occurred, but now Myria only has about, it's like less than a 2x dilution between now and the end of 2025. So again, when we look at projects, and some of them we're going to be covering, one, especially later on in the video today, some projects have like around a 10x. Some other ones have like 15x dilution. Newer gaming projects that launched earlier in 2024 between now and the end of next year. So we look at projects that have been around for a little bit. A lot of the dilution has occurred, or they had better vesting schedules like Mavia and Karrat. This is something you want to take a look at, is the vesting schedule. Which again, if any of these projects kind of spark your fancy or whatever, however that saying goes, you can find individual dedicated videos on these projects on this channel. We've covered all of them in much further depth. This is just me giving you my opinion on the levels of different altcoins today. because I like making some of these longer form videos. But again, Myria, even at a sub $100 million fully diluted, crazy. We can take a look here at the market cap. We saw Myria get up to, over 200 million. I believe Myria got to 0.018. Yeah, so our all-time high is 0.018. We're about 90% from those all-time highs. So again, I think Myria is that's exactly a 10x away from here, and people were calling for it to 10x from those levels. So I think Myria, you know, we're 10x away from its previous all-time highs, which I think is gonna get there without a whole lot of problem in a gaming run. I mean, you have top influencers backing Myria. It's a lot of people do look at it as like the true Gallic games of this cycle, which I do agree with that stance. We've covered it multiple times here. The only thing I want Myria to do is I want them to put out more of their games. You know what I mean? I think that's what everyone says about Myria, and that's why maybe some people have lost conviction. I still hold my Myria, full disclosure, but I want more of the games to come out. I know I think Meta Rush, I want to say, is either out or coming out here soon. But I want more games. I want more games to come out. I know they had their Cricket beta, or they put out some gameplay about their Cricket game, but that's not one that was built in-house, and this isn't FUD or anything. This is just me giving you guys my opinion. Again, I hold Myria, so I'm not trying to FUD it or anything, but I want more of their games. I want more development in their in their ecosystem, or I want some more going on with their Ethereum layer 2, their scaling solution, their blockchain. They've a lot of people put on a high mantle with this project. So I do think Myria is going to do very well long term. I just want more out of it right now. But again, in these bearish climates, I can understand why maybe they are holding off on some of the major updates until the market flips bullish again, which is I think is the case for a lot of projects in the across the entire board, across the markets, not just gaming. But either way, Myria at these levels, very cheap. Gamee, we're gonna run through a couple of these next ones here pretty quick. Gamee, we've talked about Gamee for quite a while now, about a year now, I want to say. For a Telegram play, I think Gamee is pretty solid for a Telegram gaming play. Now, there's other projects coming out on Telegram, but I do like Gamee. They've been around for a cycle already. They've been around for a while. They have the gamers, they have the players, they have the games in their ecosystem. The vesting is obviously not harsh. A lot of the vesting's already happened. Not a whole lot to say there. I think Gamee is still a quality project, backed in, I believe, owned by Animoca Brands, the biggest VC, or one of the biggest VCs in the gaming sector. So I do think Gamee will get, some spotlight shined on it, especially with Telegram gaming potentially being, a hot narrative within crypto gaming. And Telegram, obviously, we've seen has encroached into the top 10 altcoins. So I think for a Telegram gaming play right now, I like Gamee. So that's where I'm at right there. Now, Shrapnel, this is a question I get all the time, if I'm still bullish on Shrapnel or not. I am bullish on Shrapnel. Now, obviously, there's the dilution that everyone gets worried about, and that's fair. But I think Shrapnel, more than anything, maybe not so much a long-term hold, but I do think Shrapnel is going to be a potential great trade in a gaming run, Avalanche gaming run, especially when Off the Grid launches. If that does actually generate a lot of hype, and if it actually does launch at a high, evaluation, I think people are going to be looking for, cheaper alternatives than to Off the Grid if it launches pretty high. For stuff like Shrapnel, Bloodloop, that could be another good example here. So I do expect Shrapnel to maybe ride on the coattails of Off the Grid. Potentially, that's where I'm looking at Shrapnel, but the game's still solid. The project's solid overall, and that's my stance on Shrapnel. Now, Qorpo World, here's one that we've talked about quite a bit. Another gaming hub. Again, cheap levels, in my opinion. Not financial advice, just my opinion here. At an $11 million circulating market cap. These are crazy. We told you guys about this right when it launched at a $7 million market cap, right here. But then obviously some dilution has occurred. But we rode this up quickly right at launch, well over $1, and then took some profits. And then now it has been down and trading, pretty sideways around this 15 cents to 20 cent levels for quite some time. I think Qorpo potentially doesn't, if it goes further down, I don't know how much further down it is going to go just because it's been ranging for so long here. But one thing that is worth mentioning is that there is a pretty decent unlock coming towards the end of the month here. If you take a look at it, the supply will go from 72 million to 83 million. And the big thing is that, the staking rewards is actually going to be getting their first unlock towards the end of August here, I believe on one of the last days of August, like the 29th or something. And of course, other categories like the seed round, staking, private round as well, influencer, stuff like that is going to be happening. So pretty decent unlock towards the end of the month, and then it'll just continue from there, obviously. But So that's one thing making to worth noting on Qorpo World. But if you take a look, their CEO or their founder, Ross Bakalov. I hate pronouncing his name. I just always feel like I mispronounce it. I know I do, but either way, he's always pretty active. I put out this gameplay of their Animate game. Again, looks pretty solid. Kind of does look like a literally almost like a Power World style game, which obviously that did very, very well. I think this game does look pretty solid, and they have obviously their Citizen Conflicts game. They did put out more updates about, they have a burning mechanism in their ecosystem now, how much revenue they're generating. It's like 500K or something a month just off Citizen Conflict. Again, we made a dedicated video on it, but either way, all their games look very solid. So I think Qorpo World is still going to perform quite well, I believe. Nobody knows, obviously, but there is some dilution to recur, an unlock, pretty big unlock happening towards the end of this month. So just be aware of that. And again, I don't think gaming's going to run, this month, next month, but who knows? Nobody knows. But that's where I'm at with Qorpo World. OTK, now it's always hard to, to kind of give my opinion on, it's getting at good levels again, because this thing, OTK just pumps, man. It pumps all the time. And this is one that we've obviously been accumulating for quite some time. We were talking about OTK well before Christmas of last year, at like a $2 million market cap here. You can go find the videos on this channel, if you don't believe it or whatever. We were talking about OTK, like a $2 million market cap, back in November, and then it ran all the way up to a $30 million market cap. So obviously that did pretty well for us. We didn't get, the whole like 120x here or whatever that was, but still, it did pretty good for us, because again, it pays to know the space. I was very bullish on crypto gaming, all bear market. I knew I had felt strongly, especially with how Solana had performed. Solana was getting towards like new all-time highs at that time. So it looked like the Solana ecosystem was going to be very hot this cycle. That theory has kind of proven to be true, and I believe will continue doing so. So OTK, as far as a gaming project on Solana, I do think it's one of the better ones. I don't really like saying the best because nobody, I think, is the best, but either way, I do think it's one of the better gaming plays on Solana, and they're focusing on mobile. They've already come out with like 2 new games here recently over this summer, Bonk Run, and then they had put on their Twitter, but I forget the other one. So I think it's like 14 games live now. I mean, if you look at their Twitter here, it should tell us right in their bio. Yeah, so 14 games launch, with 4 million plus users, backed by the Solana Foundation and more. So, pretty solid here with OTK, no complaints there. But again, and I told you guys, when OTK, I have to go even further than a month now, when OTK got to a sub $5 million market cap, again, you can find the video on this channel. I was screaming at you guys, telling you, this thing is crazy undervalued, that I was buying OTK, and that I think OTK, especially from these levels, I hate saying stuff like this, being kind of, moonboy a little bit, but I do think from those levels, from a sub $5 million market cap, I mean, a 50 to 100x is not that unfeasible for a project like this. If we get a pretty big gaming run, if Solana continues to perform, both of which I do believe are gonna, happen, but again, nobody knows, and nothing I say is financial advice. And again, I hate saying those kind of big numbers, but that's kind of how I felt. And ever since then, we saw it from those levels, get to almost a 3x immediately. I think it was with the launch of Bonk Run, and then they had partnered with Bonk, the meme coin, one of the top meme coins on Solana. So a partnership that made sense, and just launch of another game. And then here recently we saw them get all the way back up to a $15 million market cap, and now they have came back to a 10 million. And I was telling you guys that, wait for this thing to get to like an $8 million market cap. It's done that a few times here. I mean, here even recently it got to a 9 million. So I think at these levels, it's easy to look at the chart and say, oh, well, that's a 2x, I missed out. But it's still a $10 million, circulating market cap, quality gaming project on Solana, focusing on mobile, backed by the Solana Foundation, launching new games. And if you look at their exchange listings, they only have KuCoin for a centralized exchange. That's it. The team has said that they have partnerships and backers with other exchange listings. They say that they are going to get other exchange listings. They're just waiting for this market to turn bullish again, because the team understands they get crypto, which is what I really like about the team. And again, it's a docs team. You actually find it in their white paper, or they just do AMAs. They understand that if they got a new centralized exchange listing today, it's not going to do a lot for the price or for the project, whereas it will be more impactful once the project turns bullish again. So I actually do like That's never been a complaint of mine. I do like that they are waiting for those catalysts to actually make sense and actually have more of a, you know, of an impact on the project. So I like OTK. And again, at these levels, it could go further down. It could just trade sideways for a bit. Nobody knows, but I definitely would advise, if you don't have a position, if you're looking for one, again, pick whatever project. I'm not telling you guys to buy anything on today's video or anything at all. Nothing is financial advice. But if you've been looking for an entry on OTK, if you don't have anything, consider maybe DCAing at these levels because, it's, again, don't look at it as, a 2x from those 5 million and you missed out. It's still a $10 million circulating market cap. It still has a lot of room to run, in my opinion. So it's better just to get an initial, entry than not have anything at all, waiting for it to come down. And if it never does, either way, though, OTK, very solid in my opinion. Now, Playable, I still hold my Playable. We did take some initial profits here, whenever it ran up to like over a penny. But, I think for a same thing as like Shrapnel a little bit, I think for a Avalanche gaming Playable as a gaming hub, really the only quality to my knowledge, I say it every time, gaming hub on Avalanche. I think Playable Games is very solid. The team's obviously docs. They do AMAs. They're very vocal. Old Bull, I think is the founder's like nickname or whatever. He's always, being open about the project. They have a lot of games in the pipeline. The games are fun. Like their Nexus game, it is fun. It's been live for a super long time. You actually play it. They have their nodes in their ecosystem. They did very well in a gaming run and with Avalanche. Also, it helped that they did their node sale. They cut their nodes down to quite a lot in price. I think it was like $2,200, so pretty impressive there. And again, they got over a penny. So I think Playable at these levels for what they're building and a gaming hub, I think is, very, very solid. I still think it's undervalued to this day, and that's just my opinion here. Let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think? I think differently, but I think Playable will make a huge comeback, especially with a gaming run and if Avalanche, runs again, which I think it will. I think Avalanche, just like the last cycle, I think Avalanche kind of gets overshadowed by Solana. But when Solana runs, Avalanche does, also run kind of behind it a little bit. So I think we'll see that trend continue this cycle. So again, I'm very bullish on Avalanche Gaming, and we have, catalysts like Off the Grid. Obviously, a lot of people have their eyes on Beam, which is, a part of Avalanche Gaming because it's a subnet there. So again, if you don't have exposure to Avalanche Gaming, I like Playable Games, but you could also pick Bloodloop, Shrapnel, wait for Off the Grid. It doesn't matter. Just get exposure to it if you're bullish on that. Just get exposure somehow. I've chosen Playable as Avalanche Gaming, but again, that's me. But I also like betting on, most of the time on hubs versus individual games. So if you look at Playable versus Shrapnel, that's a great example there. But either way, that's Playable Games. GameSwift. Now, this is one that we made a video on last Friday. You can actually go on there. It should be the most recent video behind this one. You can actually go on there and see their update. GameSwift did an insanely bullish update, in my opinion, where they actually did just come out and say that they are planning to burn 47% of GSwift's, their tokens, total supply, because a big concern for the longest time has been GameSwift's tokenomics. Everyone looks at GameSwift and they say, oh, well, such a low market cap, sub $5 million market cap, which is crazy, by the way. And then they look at the fully diluted, well over a 20x away. But if you look at it, GameSwift, before it was like 44% of the supply wasn't going to get touched. And it's only about a 4 to 5x dilution between now and the end of 2025. If you actually look at their vesting schedule, it's not that harsh, really, when you compare it to other projects, especially other individual gaming projects. Versus GameSwift, they have their whole ecosystem, which we've covered time and time again. They have a layer 2 modular gaming blockchain, the first modular gaming blockchain, so first mover advantage. They're also having AI with their AI launcher. They have a studio. They have, a whole, SDK, whole play or gaming hub ecosystem. We actually get in there and play other individual games with their GameSwift, I believe, ID. It's almost like an immutable passport, if you're familiar with that at all, with like Immutable X. It's definitely, to me, a way smaller degen version of Immutable X is how I've always kind of viewed GameSwift. Obviously, Immutable X is in the billions of market caps right now. I'm not saying GameSwift is going to get there, at least not this cycle, but you can look at the two and see that one potentially has a lot more upside. I don't know. That's my opinion, though. But they do say that they are going to be using their buybacks. They're going to be doing buybacks from operating profits to acquire 30% of the seed round, which is 60 million tokens, which are currently valued at $5 million, and then burn them. Then they have more stages coming here soon. So I'm very bullish on GameSwift. I think that was the right move. I mean, probably one of the best moves that the team could have made. In the team's docs, they do town halls, AMAs all the time on their YouTube channel. Just look up GameSwift, you'll find them, which I love. It's actually, again, similar to like Playable Games where the team is always active, letting the community know, hey, this is what's going on right now. I think they've kind of, one, yes, been overshadowed because they ran hard towards the end of last year, did like over a 10x here, which again, another project, we were covering it at like 10 cents, 12 cents here. I want to say you can find it, again, on the channel. The videos are there. You can find it. And then it ran all the way up to about 88 cents. So that also did quite well for us. Again, I don't say this to brag. I'm just letting you guys know how crazy it is to see these prices today because you're getting them literally like GameSwift, half off of where we initially covered it at the beginning before even gaming ran last cycle or last year. That's the point of this video, is to show you guys, hey, these levels are crazy right now. I didn't think we were going to see these levels on a lot of these altcoins. So if anyone's been waiting for DCA and entry points, yes, things could go lower, sure, but at the same time, how much lower? Especially when you look at something like GameSwift, where yeah, it could go down another 50%, or it could 10x, and still not even be at its previous all-time highs. That's kind of, you know what I mean? Like you might lose 50% of your initial position right now, or it might 10x in a gaming run. That's kind of what you have to look at, like an asymmetric bet. But again, that's a whole other topic in video. But either way, at GameSwift, I think one reason maybe it might get overshadowed. One, it ran hard, so it needed a big retracement. Gaming has not been a hot narrative this year. It's also built on Arbitrum, which was an interesting choice there. It launched off Sparta Decks last summer. But again, they have their mainnet. Again, watch Friday's video if you're bullish on GameSwift or want to know more about it. We cover a lot of their ecosystem in that video, but they have their testnet live right now. The team actually did say that their mainnet is ready. It's kind of like the OTK effect where it is ready. They just understand crypto and they understand that right now it makes no sense to launch their mainnet because it's not going to do anything for the project or for the price action, because any big updates right now are not going to have that much of an impact that you might think. Even though you might want them right now, you don't. You want the team to wait, like GameSwift, like OTK, for the market to at least turn bullish or for a gaming run, because that's when you're going to see these catalysts have such way more of an impact on the price action, on the project. So their mainnet is ready. They have, I mean, millions, over 2 million, I believe, transactions on their testnet alone, which has only been live for like 60 days now with zero failures. And they have projects that are building. Another big thing is that GameSwift, their team, they've said, they've announced, I mean, they're using their revenue to literally do buybacks. The team's actually generating revenue. That's something you want to look for in a project also. Are they actually generating money? They actually are, by incubating, different projects like Star Heroes. They're actually generating revenue. So GameSwift, again, very bullish at these levels. I don't know. I don't really see how you go wrong, but it has to be stated, yes, that projects could always go to zero, or they could, continue going up or down. Whatever. That's where you do your own research, have your own conviction level. And again, the point is, whether it's GameSwift or not, just if you have some of your favorite projects, it doesn't even have to be any of these. If you have some of your favorite projects that you've been waiting for, levels on, I guarantee whatever it is, it's probably at a good level right now. And I can almost, 90% of the projects you buy right now, if you just buy them and hold for the next 6 to 12 months, I guarantee, not guarantee, that's a bad word, but I feel confident that you will make money, because I don't think things are going to go much lower, whereas they do have room to go lower. I don't think they're going to go much lower. Either way, that's a whole tangent, but GameSwift, very bullish on that. Planet Mojo. Now, this is the last project we're going to be covering today. This is one I was telling you guys, kind of a degen sub $1 million, gaming trade. I like Planet Mojo. We've made videos on it in the past. I do like them. One thing I think the team did right, because before they were only on Polygon, which was not that bullish to me. I don't think Polygon personally is a bullish chain this cycle like it was last cycle, especially for gaming. I'm not that bullish on Polygon for gaming. It's a gaming chain. Not really personally, but that could always change. But right now, no. But they actually did make the decision to actually go ahead and announce that the Planet Mojo is actually going to be building on base. Now, we say this whenever projects do this. It's a good move, but there is a difference between a project migrating or, building on base versus launching on base. So I think that's why they haven't seen a whole lot of the price action, is because there is a huge difference between a project launching on Polygon then deciding to build on base versus just launching on base. It's like with Heroes and Mavia, it launched on Ethereum, but then now it's building on base. It's way less bullish than if they would have just launched on base, but hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know in the comments below or in the Discord. I'll try to explain it better. But again, I don't want to go into it too much on on a video's sake. But either way, they have a lot of games. I mean, that can't be denied. They have their Mojo Melee, Gojo Mojo, Mojo Maker, and Prophecy of the Ancients. A lot of games. They have like we've covered it like a partnership or integration with Amazon Prime Gaming. So one of the only projects I see with that, which is pretty cool. The vesting. I have to look at the vesting a little bit more. We looked into it that video, I believe, but I think the vesting is, it's a newer gaming project, so it's not the best. There is some dilution to be occurring here, but I do like that they have kind of swapped from Polygon to base. I think that was a step in the right decision, or decision in the right step. But like almost a majority of new gaming, altcoins TGEs that launched this year, gaming hasn't been hot, so we've seen this thing just bleed out. I do expect Planet Mojo to be a pretty decent trade, potentially, in a gaming run. Again, it's not one that I would be holding personally right now or for the long term, but maybe let's let it bleed out a little bit more. But another great example of how much really could this keep going down. You know what I mean? Like, really, how much further can Planet Mojo really be going down? I think it's going to be holding around these $1 million levels. You would be kind of waiting for maybe an 800K market cap, which is really a big difference, and I don't think the project's on a rug or anything, but either way, it's one that I'm really looking for as a potential degen play in a gaming run. Now there's others, but there's ones that not quite ready to bring it to YouTube. Ask me in the Discord or in the Patreon, but either way, Mojo, that's kind of a gem for you guys, or kind of like a hidden nugget a little bit. If you're looking for a degen microcap gaming play to look in for as like a swing trade or a degen trade in a gaming run, or as gaming starts to heat up or the altcoin season starts to start, Planet Mojo is a decent one in my opinion. Now there's obviously probably like 100 others you could probably pick. It doesn't have to be that one, just like the rest of it. It doesn't have to be any of these. Just have one. Just have, I think everyone should have like a degen, micro cap play for any hot narrative. Gaming, AI, RWA. That's my opinion. Now, as a quick recap, we'll go through them all one more time quickly, just to let you know. Let's recap on what we covered. Planet Mojo, degen, potential, degen, microcap, play, trade, whatever, into a gaming run. GameSwift, don't get me started again on GameSwift, but very bullish, with their modular blockchain. Mainnet is ready, just waiting for, better conditions to launch. Good levels. Playable, Avalanche Gaming Hub, OTK, one of the better quality mobile gaming, just gaming projects on Solana. Qorpo, again, another quality gaming hub. They have multiple games that they've showcased with their Citizen Conflict, Anime, Shrapnel. I still like the game. I think it's going to be more of like a Avalanche Gaming trade, maybe leading up to Off the Grid or an Off the Grid launches. That's what I'm kind of looking at there. Gamee, if you're looking for a Telegram, gaming play, I like Gamee, but again, there's other ones. But if you look at Notcoin, that's at the billions. I mean, compare the two. Notcoin at billions or Gamee at 20 million. That's my thesis there. Myria, I still see Myria as a Gala Games killer, which, Gala Games got to $5 billion in market cap last cycle. So do the math there again. Karrat Coin, I'm going to leave off on Karrat Coin, actually. But here's a Mavia. Again, pretty good levels, especially since they're also building on base. There's a lot of hype there. I see a lot that people kind of go between as like the Axie Infinity of the cycle as far as like gains go. People always either talk about here's a Mavia or Echelon Prime last summer or Karrat Coin. Nobody knows, guys. That's the thing. Nobody knows. Just pick one. Do your own research, obviously. Have the conviction. Keep up to date. Have a reason why you're picking it, but just pick one. But either way, Karrat Coin, I really didn't think we'd see these prices so soon, at least not until closer to the unlock. There's an unlock happening in October, but it's not really that big. I think it's kind of just getting blown to proportion and exaggerated a little bit more than what it really is. Look into it. You can find it on Crypto Rank. It's not that hard. But either way, put in a new all-time low this morning, 39 cents. Pretty crazy there. So either way, guys, those are some gaming projects that we've covered. Again, we covered all these on the channel, but that's what I'm kind of looking at. Just want to kind of showcase my thesis on a bunch of them. Let me know if you want to see more individual, reviews on a couple of these. If you want to stay up to date a little bit more, we make, again, updates really on all these projects. GameSwift was just Friday alone. So, perfect example, OTK here recently. And I let you guys know, a lot more than I probably should on YouTube of like, hey, I think this is pretty undervalued, in my opinion. Again, I could be wrong on everything, but there's been a couple cases where we've been correct. And so I mean, yeah, like I said, either feel free to continue watching the YouTube. I really appreciate all you guys' support. Or if you want to get into the Discord, it's free to join. There's also the Patreon, which is optional. Obviously, I don't want to touch on that too much, but that is an option. If you want to support the channel, just see what I'm really trading or what I'm doing. And either way, guys, if you guys got value out of today's video, if you guys can like the video, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, see you guys.